Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name's Rhiannon and I've decided that today is finally the day where I'm gonna unhaul some books off of these shelves. You guys can probably see these stacks of books behind me. These are all the books that I've hauled recently that need to go up onto my shelves. However, my shelves are completely full and it's definitely time for me to do a clear out. The last time I did an unhaul and filmed it was this time last year. So it is definitely overdue. Not gonna lie, I am terrified because I have major attachment issues and hate getting rid of books. But realistically, I do need to get rid of some. I have way too many on my shelves that I've either lost interest in or that I've read but don't really want to keep anymore. So it's time to be brutal, guys. Kiwi is here, as you can see. She is going to be walking around as I tackle my shelves. I am going to do this shelf by shelf. You guys seemed to really like that last time, and so I've decided to do it that way again. So I will be filming each shelf and telling you guys which books off of that shelf I will be unhauling, and then at the end I may show you all the books. I won't go too in depth, don't worry, because we would be here for hours. I genuinely think that my last unhaul was about an hour and 20 minutes, which I definitely don't want to be doing today. And this time around, what I've decided to do with the books that I will be unhauling is to actually list them on my Depop. So last year I asked you guys to DM me on Instagram and Twitter, or to leave a comment in the comment section on YouTube. However, I just got way too overwhelmed. I was getting so many messages about different books. Some people let me down after asking for certain books, and yeah, it just put a lot of unnecessary stress on me, to be honest with you. I do have a pile of books to the side of me here that I still haven't gotten rid of a year down the line. So I do think that what I'm going to do to make this a whole lot easier for myself is to list everything on Depop. Now, if the books aren't in great condition or I don't think that they are sellable, then I will donate them or gift them to friends and family. However, I do have a lot of special editions. I have a lot of hardcovers, and I just think that's the easiest way. I will just be asking for the price that I paid for the book, so I won't be one of those that asks for an extortionate amount of money. And so if you do see something that you would like, then I will have my Depop linked in the description box so that you guys can check it out. Right, I feel like we got all the important bits out of the way. If I missed anything, please just leave me a comment and I will be sure to get back to you. However, it's currently 10 to 3 and I don't want the light to get any worse. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start the unhaul. Right, so before we dive into the unhaul, I just wanted to give you guys an overview of my shelves. So I have the Billy bookcases from IKEA, but I have the kind of corner one. So that is how I've managed to fit so many in this room. However, it is very hard to show you guys, so I am trying my best. But this is what the shelves currently look like. These are the books I've hauled recently, and then I do have a pile of books I still need to get rid of from last year's haul, which is ridiculous, I know. But I am going to start with this shelf first, which has all of my classics on there. This is one that I'm not going to touch. I am going to have to rearrange it once I film this unhaul because I do have some editions that need to go on there. However, I love every single one of these books and there is no chance that I'm getting rid of them. So moving down, we have my Agatha Christie shelf, which again, I don't think I'm going to get rid of too much off of here. The only two that I have are these two because, as you can see, they are different additions to the rest of the books on this shelf. They are a lot smaller. I have kept these because I wanted to wait until I got the matching editions before getting rid of them. However, I feel like that's not necessary anymore. I do actually have Murder on the Orient Express in the pile on the floor, so I feel like these can actually go. Then moving down to this shelf, this is my murder mystery shelf. As you can see, we have a mug here filled with bookmarks, so I'll just move that out of the way for now. To be honest, I don't really think that I want to get rid of anything from here. The only thing might be this one, just because I've had it for years, but then every time I read the synopsis it really does intrigue me, so I'm not sure what to do. It's The Kingdom of Bones by Stephen Gallagher, and it's apparently a dark gothic Victorian thriller. So it says, the Kingdom of Bones unfolds in a twilight world of music halls, boxing booths and travelling theatrical shows, and pits a formidable Pinkerton detective against a man who fears more than justice. I think for now I will keep it. What I will do is I will put it back, but I'll have it sticking out a little bit, and then I can always come back to it later if I feel like I still might get rid of it. Right, moving on to the next shelf, and hopefully this is a lot less shaky for you because I actually have you on my standing tripod now. This is as far as it'll go, so that is why the first few shelves might have been a bit shaky. I'm so sorry if they were, but this is the start of my middle grade shelves. As you can see, we have the Nevermore trilogy here, we have Omari and the Night Brothers, which are some of my favourite middle grades ever. We have a bunch more here as well, and some murder mystery ones there. I'm honestly not sure if I want to get rid of any of these, mainly because they're just so pretty, but also because I need to continue on with the rest of the books in the series, and so I don't want to be getting rid of books that I might want to hang on to. So I think that we can give this shelf a miss. Right, moving down, we have the continuation of my middle grade shelf. We have this stunning mug, which is a Beauty and the Beast inspired mug. It holds all of my bookmarks in there, and I just absolutely love it. So this stays on this shelf. In terms of books to get rid of on this one, again, it's the same situation where I don't really want to be getting rid of any, but the Summoner series by Taran Matharu is a possibility, because I did read the first one, not the prequel, book 1, which is The Novice. I really did enjoy it when I read it, but then I never carried on with the rest of the books, so I don't know whether to hold on to them or not. Something is telling me that I will read them and love them, which is why I've kept them for so long, so I think that can possibly stay for now. But then we have Dragon Mountain, which I really did love. I listened to the audiobook for this one, and I actually got this one very cheap at Waterstones. It does have a sprayed edge, which is really cool. It has the dragon scales on it, but it was damaged, which is why I bought it. I think it was down from £8 to about £2 or £3, and I didn't mind the fact that it was a bit damaged because once it's on the shelf you can't really see. So yeah, that's how I got this one. I don't think I actually need a physical copy of this. As I mentioned, I did listen to the audiobook, I did listen to it on Scribd, and the rest of the books are available audibly as well. So I do think I might get rid of that one. And then the only other one I have here is Tristan Strong Punches a Hole in the Sky. Now this is one that I bought as soon as it came out and I still haven't read it, so I don't know whether to hold on to it or not. I feel like I should, because I have heard amazing things about it, but it is a massive book that I know will take me quite a long time to get through. So this might be a maybe for now. I'll put it back and kind of stick it out a bit so that I can come back to it if I do change my mind. But yeah, from this shelf, Dragon Mountain is going to go. I'm not doing too well at the minute, guys, but I feel like the next shelf will definitely need a clear out, so hopefully we can unhaul some books there. And then I'm going to show you the last two shelves together for this one, just because I feel like it makes the most sense. I want to tackle them all together, but these are my paperback books. I do have some more paperback books scattered across my shelves, but this is where I keep the majority of them, I'd say, and to be honest, these are the books that I don't really gravitate towards, which is why they're on this shelf and not directly behind me where you guys can see the books when I film. So these are hidden away. They're not ones that I really prioritise or reach for, so I definitely think that we can get rid of a few from here. The first thing I'm going to do is move these away. I have a load of tabs here that I haven't really used because I did go through a phase of annotating and tabbing my books. However, I stopped doing it and now I have all these tabs. Who knows, I might get back into it, but for now I have stopped. And then we also have this Illumicrate bookmark tin. I'm not sure if it's specifically for bookmarks, but it's one of their ceramic tins that you can display on your bookshelves as I'm doing now. The last little trinket on this first shelf is a candle by Midnight Flame. It's called Mermaid Lagoon, and yeah, it's a really nice candle. It smells of tropical fruits and Neverland. And yeah, I absolutely love it. It has some nice glitter in there as well. And now moving on to the book. So I am going to keep the Maria V. Snyder Poison Study books. I have just read the first one, absolutely loved it, so I will definitely be continuing on with the rest of the books this year. Now, straight away, I see some here that I could unhaul, though I do feel really bad already because I know that these are really popular books. So first off here, we have three of the pink books. We have The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas, Thomas, Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens, and The Vanishing Half by Brit Bennett. Now, The Hate U Give is one that I read when it first came out and I absolutely loved it. I think it's such an important book about race and the injustice that black people are facing by police and just their peers in general. I think it was such a well done, powerful novel that everyone should read. The only thing is that I'm not sure if I need a physical copy of it now. I read it, I loved it, it stuck with me, but I can always listen to the audiobook if I want to revisit the story. It is available on Scribd, and so I'm just not sure whether I need a physical copy. To be honest, I might gift it to my sister because I feel like she would really enjoy this book, and I just have way too many books at the minute that I'm planning on reading where I don't really have time to reread stories, and I do actually need to read Angie Thomas's second book, which I do own and I'll show you in a minute, but that is on the come up. It's on these shelves and I'm not getting rid of that one because I haven't read it yet. But I do think, unfortunately, I am going to unhaul this one, but hopefully it can make its way to someone and have such a big impact on them. Right, Where the Crawdads Sing. I was so interested in this one because it is a mystery book. I'm not sure if it has a thriller element to it, but I've not heard amazing things about the author. I think when the film came out, a lot of stuff about the author did as well, and I'm just not sure if I want to read this now. I might look at reviews and decide from there, but this is one that I feel like I will get rid of, even though the story does sound like something I would absolutely love. But I haven't picked it up since I bought it, so I must not be that bothered by it. And yeah, at the minute, this is one that I'm going to unhaul. Nothing to do with the book itself, more to do with the actual author. And then The Vanishing Half by Brit Bennett. This is one that I actually bought in Waterstones, and I believe, yeah, that it is damaged, and I got this for £2, I think, instead of $8.99. If this was full price, I don't think I would have bought it, mainly because it's not really my type of book. You guys know I love my fantasy and murder mysteries and things like that. However, this is more of a literary fiction novel, but the premise really intrigued me and I thought that this would be a very important read. So it says on the back, The Vanishing Half is an utterly mesmerising novel. It seduces with its literary flair, surprises with its breathtaking plot twists, delights with its psychological insights, and challenges us to consider the corrupting consequences of racism on different communities and individual lives. I absolutely loved this book, and that's a quote by Bernardine Evaristo. That is making me want to keep this, actually. It was shortlisted for the Women's Prize for Fiction 2021, so I don't know, I'm just not sure if it's the book for me, but I feel like I do need to keep it and read it and experience it for myself because of how powerful and impactful it's going to be. So do you know what? I might actually put this back. I'm going to put it so that it kind of sticks out again, and if I do need more space on my shelves, at the end I will have to be brutal and get rid of it. And then, to be honest, from looking at the rest of the books on this shelf, I am not sure that I want to get rid of anything else, actually. So if I move all of these across, I do actually have a bit of space at the end here now, which is good. However, I feel like I still need to get rid of more, but oh, one I could get rid of actually is The Night Swim. I have read this one. It's about a true crime podcaster, I believe, that is trying to solve a rape case, and then whilst she investigates the rape case, she finds that there are connections to an unsolved murder. I really enjoyed this one. I can't remember too much about it, honestly, but I think I'll gift this one to my mum, and then once she's done with it, she can do with it as she wants. Maybe she will give it back to me, we'll see. But yeah, it was a really good book. I enjoyed it, but I've read it now and I feel like I don't need to hold on to it. And then moving on to this shelf, we either have a Fairy Loo or an Illumicrate tin. This had some prompts in from when I was doing my TBR game, so it's just kind of stayed there, to be honest. And then we also have a candle from Grace and Honey. This one is The Goddess. I believe it was a Polathon release. It is a beautiful candle though, and you can see it's made to look like the Northern Lights, which is just beautiful. So I keep that on this shelf. Right, already I actually see the 3 books here that I can get rid of. These I just don't think are for me. The first one is The Coldest Touch. We got this as an extra book in a Fairy Loot box, so it wasn't one that I actively went out and bought for myself. It's a vampire high school story that I don't think I'm interested in at all, to be honest with you, so this one can go. We then have The Flat Share. I think actually I might hold on to this in order to gift it to someone, because my sister and stepsister have started reading recently, or at least reading more than they did, and they've really been getting into their romances, so I feel like one of them or both of them would enjoy this one, so that might actually end up being gifted to one of them. But it's one that I am getting rid of because I just don't enjoy reading romances. Maybe that will change in the future, but at this point in my life that isn't something I'm interested in. So yeah, unfortunately, even though I've heard nothing but amazing things about that book, it is going to go. Then we have The Existence of Amy by Lana Grace Reaver. This one was sent to me by the author and I feel really bad that I'm getting rid of it. However, again, it's not really my thing. It's a book about mental illness and it gives an insight into the reality of obsessive compulsive disorder, which is OCD, anxiety and depression. Now, I was very interested in this, however, Chloe from Chloe Reads Books read this book and really didn't enjoy it. I think she gave it 2 stars, and from what she said and how she felt reading this, I don't think it's one that I will be reading, unfortunately, especially not whilst I've been in a reading slump and whilst my mental health isn't the best. So yeah, unfortunately this is one that's gonna go. Again, I will offer it to my sister and my stepsister, but if they don't want it, then you are more than welcome to have it. Okay, so good start on this shelf. Do we have anything else? This is where my attachment issues come in. So I do think that I can actually get rid of Wind Witch by Susan Dennard. I've read Truth Witch twice now, which is the first book in this series. Really didn't enjoy it the first time round, but I gave it another go when Jade from JJ Rowe Reads was hosting Witch Lands Along, which was a readathon for the books in this series. Absolutely loved it the second time round. I gave it 5 stars and immediately bought the second book. However, I still haven't picked it up, and honestly I just don't know if I ever will. It is a very long series as well. There are a few novellas, there are a few novels, so I'm just not sure if I will actually dedicate the time that this series needs to it because I'm just so busy. Again, I've been in a weird slump, so I'm just thinking that this is one that I could part with and I wouldn't actually feel too bad. So for now it's going in the unhaul pile, and I guess we'll see at the end whether that decision stands. See, I do have The Institute by Stephen King, and that's one I was debating unhauling, but I'm actually so interested in it, and people say that this is a really good book to get you started on Stephen King books, so I think I'm gonna keep that. The Dark Queen. This is one that I've had for years, I think since about 2017, because it was when I went to Yelk for the first time. The cover is initially what drew me in. It just looks so cool, and then I did also meet the author whilst at Yelk, so I got this book signed as well, which is a really nice touch. This book is massive, but I think because of the cover and the fact the author signed it and that she was so lovely, I have just decided to keep it. So I think that I will hold on to this one, but if next year comes around and I still haven't read it, then I will have to get rid of it. The Binding is also one that could be unhauled, but again, I've just been holding on to this for some weird reason. I feel like it's one that I actually would love once I sat down and read it, but then I never actually go to pick it up. But there's a quote here that says, "A rich gothic entertainment that explores what books have trapped in them and reminds us of the power of storytelling." Again, I feel like this is one where I will have 1 year now to read it, and if I don't read it I will have to get rid of it because it's ridiculous at this point that I still haven't read them. Another one that I'm thinking of getting rid of from this shelf is The Sin Eater's Daughter, because I have literally had this for years. I think I bought it when it came out. So how long ago was that? This book came out in 2015, which is awful, but I've just heard really good things, and it's in the same realm for me as the Poison Study books, where it's a YA series that was released quite a while ago, but I picked up Poison Study a few weeks ago, as I mentioned, and absolutely fell in love with it, so I feel like this is one I would enjoy. However, I'm just not sure if I need to keep it. Oh my gosh, I hate doing unhauls, you guys. This is really difficult. I don't know what to do. This unhaul really isn't going as well as I thought it would. I'm really struggling to make decisions, but I do think this one is going to stay just for now. And I was looking, actually, that's the same for Rebel of the Sands for me. This is one that I've had ever since it came out and I just haven't picked it up. So I don't know if I should keep it or not. It sounds really, really good, and obviously it's a stunning book, but I just don't think I need it, and if I can get the audiobook for this, I might consume the story that way if I really want to. So this actually might be one that gets unhauled. And then these three I'm going to put back for now, but I'm putting a time limit for myself. I'm giving myself a year, and if I haven't read them, then they have to go. And then the rest of the books on here I think can stay for now. We have the Shatter Me books here, which I think I'm going to film a reading vlog for. Same goes for the Dexter books. I really do want to read those, and I would love to document my experience, so those are going to stay. Then we have my kind of mythology books here that of course are staying. Right, since we left off on the bottom shelf, I am just going to go the opposite way for this shelf, so I'm going to start at the bottom and work my way up. To be honest, not getting rid of anything from here. These are all the sci-fi books that I own. Loved the Red Rising trilogy. I read Skyward but haven't continued on, so I definitely need to do that. We have Ready Player One and Ready Player Two, which I'm planning on filming a reading vlog for. And then we have some Star Wars books and To Sleep in a Sea of Stars, which honestly terrifies me, but I am very, very excited for it. Same goes for these. Not getting rid of anything here because this is my Schwab shelf. I do have some books from Schwab that aren't on this shelf, mainly because they don't fit, but I am not getting rid of any of these books because these are some that I absolutely love and I've collected for years. So those are safe for now. Right, next up we have my Greek myth books and my Greek myth retellings. This is once again a section that I don't really want to touch because it's one of my favourite genres. I absolutely love every single book that I've read from these shelves, so I do think I am going to leave this as it is. To be honest though, as you can see, I do need a bit more space because I'm just stacking books everywhere at the minute. But until I do a reshuffle of my shelves, I'm not sure if that's possible. We will have to see. But I have some stunning books on here that I would love to display on one shelf altogether. So hopefully that can happen. But yeah, for now, I'm not going to touch any of these, so we can move on. I am now holding the camera again, so sorry for the shakiness in advance. This is my Michelle Paver shelf, so you guys know I'm not going to change anything here. These are some of my favourite books of all time. Please go ahead and read them if you haven't already. They are fantastic middle grade books, and I simply can't recommend them enough. And then on this shelf we have another Grace and Honey candle. This is the Chosen One, which is fitting for this because we do have a Chosen One figure in here. Moving up, we do have my Leigh Bardugo shelf. This is not going anywhere because look how stunning these books are. I'm obsessed with this shelf. I love the books without their dust jackets on, so that is why those are naked. And then we have another Grace and Honey candle. This one is Dark Academia. And then just quickly, I do want to kind of give a warning, I suppose, for the next shelf because it does contain books from a specific author that has been saying some awful things. So if you don't want to hear anything about these at all, skip ahead until you see the next section of shelves. However, I do want to mention these now because I am going to take them off my shelves. The books in question are these. They are the Harry Potter books, of course, by J.K. Rowling, and I've kept them on here at the top of my shelves out of view because this was definitely a sentimental series for me. I grew up with the books and the stories, and yeah, they were just a really fundamental part of my childhood. However, I don't feel comfortable having them up on my shelves anymore. Even having them right at the very top just doesn't feel right to me. And so in solidarity with the people that J.K. Rowling has harmed, I am going to remove these off my shelves and find a new home for them. I apologise for this angle, but this is the only way that I can show you guys me taking them off the shelves, so we're going to go with it. But first off, I'm going to take off the Funkos. There we go, Funkos are off, and now it's time to grab the books. So I'm not going to grab all of them at once, but I do have some bookends to keep them in place. So I am just going to quickly take them off of here now, without hurting myself in the process because these books are chunky. There we go, we have an empty shelf now that I will definitely be able to fill, so that is great. Moving on to the next shelf, we have my Cassandra Clare books at the top, which I am not going to touch, so we can move straight down to this shelf here. This again does contain some Cassie Clare books. You can see here the Lady Midnight books. I can't remember what that trilogy is even called right now. I'm having a massive brain fart. But this shelf then goes into my more YA fantasy books, and I do think that I can get rid of a few off of here. I'm going to start with these two. because they are part of the same series. We have Stormcrow and the Crow Rider. I read the Stormcrow about 2 years ago now. I really enjoyed it. It wasn't anything mind-blowing, but I had a good time, and so I did buy the second book. However, I just haven't gotten to it, and I'm not sure if I ever will, so I am going to take these off my shelves. Girls of Paper and Fire is one that I have been debating about, but I think for now it's going to stay. Same goes for the Scholomance series by Naomi Novik. That can stay. The Guinevere Deception is one that I read and really loved. However, I haven't carried on with the series, so I definitely need to do that. These three were recent Fairy Loot books, and I'm honestly excited for each and every single one, so I feel like these are ones again that can stay. Haven Fall, I'm not too sure on. The cover is absolutely stunning. Like, I am obsessed with this, but I'm just not too sure whether I want to keep it or not, so that can be a maybe for now. And then here I have the standard edition of Once Upon a Broken Heart and The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea. I have the Fairy Loot editions for both of these, so I technically should get rid of these. However, The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea I prefer the original cover for, and same goes for Once Upon a Broken Heart really, but I do think that I could actually get rid of this one. Even though it's beautiful, and again, I prefer the original cover, I might swap this cover for the Fairy Loot one and keep that. I'm not too sure, but I don't need 2 copies of this book. I haven't finished the Caraval series yet, so I can't even read it yet. So this is another one that is going to go. And then A Winter's Promise, I'm not too sure on. I've heard amazing things, but then Jade from JJ Ray Reads read the last book and was really disappointed, so I'm not sure whether I should even start. So please do let me know if you'd recommend this series or not. For now, I'm gonna kind of keep it. I'm gonna leave it kind of out, but yeah, if you have any thoughts, please leave them down below. Then moving on down to this shelf, this is some more YA fantasy here that kind of goes into adult fantasy. The City of Brass are some books that I am interested in. I listened to the audiobook of the first one and need to continue on with. Same goes for Children of Blood and Bone. I have read Children of Blood and Bone twice. Still haven't read the sequel, so I really need to get on that. Gilded is one that I'm currently reading, which is why it's sticking out already. Heartless is one of my favourite books ever. The Little Thieves, I feel like this just came out last year actually, and it's one that I am really interested in, so I think I'm going to keep it for now. Same goes for Empire of the Vampire by J. Kristoff. I have no idea when I'm actually going to sit down and read this one, but I do have it and I am going to keep it for now. And then we get to the books that I'm not too sure on. We have 3 here. We have The Book of Night by Holly Black, Where Dreams Descend by Janella Angeles, and The Final Girl Support Group by Grady Hendrix. I am more inclined to keep the Grady Hendrix book. However, these two, I really wanted to read Where Dreams Descend because it was compared a lot to The Greatest Showman and I really enjoyed that film. However, I still haven't reached for it and I'm not sure whether I actually will. Plus, my copy came a little bit damaged, which I don't know why, so be aware of that if I do get rid of it. It's a beautiful book though and I actually feel really sad getting rid of it. But for now, I am going to put it in an unhaul pile just because I haven't picked it up yet and I really do need to prioritise books that I think I'm going to love. The Book of Night, is this a Fairy Loot edition or is this a standard edition? I'm honestly not too sure. I think it is the Fairy Loot edition. Oh, see, that is beautiful. But I haven't heard the best things. I didn't love the Cruel Prince series. That might be a series that I get rid of in a minute. We shall see. So for now, I'm going to put it on there. Again, please do leave me your thoughts on this and whether you think I will enjoy it or not. And then the rest of these books I'm going to keep, I think. This, The Unspoken Name by A.K. Lockwood, is one that I've been interested in for the longest time. Same goes for The Maidens. Wild and Wicked Things is a new release that came out later on in 2022. So this is one that I'm excited for. And then Witch Sign. I have tried to read these books. I tried to read the first one a while ago, but I really wasn't in the right space for it. But I am going to give it another go. Not sure when, but yeah, this one is staying for now. So I do have a bit more space on here. Got rid of 2 books. And then moving down, I can once again pop you on the tripod, which is really handy. I'm not too sure if I'm going to get rid of much from this shelf, to be honest with you guys. These are all staying, the ones at the top. So we have Violet Made of Thorns, A Curse So Dark and Lonely, These Hollow Bells, The Darkening, and Master of Sorrows. We do have The Gilded Wolves here, which I've had for the longest time. I did start reading it. I'm not sure if you can see my bookmark is in there. I got up to page, what was it? oops, 27, so not all that far in. However, I love this edition. I love the cover so much, and I believe it was an Owl Crate book, if I remember correctly. Yeah, Dear Owl Crate Reader. So this is an Owl Crate exclusive edition. It has this symbol on the book as well, and I've just been holding on to it because this is my aesthetic in a book. I love the green and blue and silver vibes, and I've just really struggled to let go of it. So again, this is one I'm not too sure on, so I'll put it to the side as a maybe for now. And then next up, We Hunt the Flame, right? This is one that I've owned ever since it came out. I think that this actually might be an Owl Crate edition, is it? Yeah, it is. It's an Owl Crate edition again. And I haven't been subscribed to Owl Crate for at least 3 years, maybe even more. So yeah, this has been on my shelves for a while. It's one that I really am interested in picking up. It's just that I really don't prioritize it, and so it's just sat on my shelves ever since I bought it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to check on Scribd to see if it's available there, and if it is, I do think that I will get rid of this one and consume the story through Scribd, because I enjoy listening to audiobooks a lot anyway. They definitely help me get through a lot of books that I wouldn't necessarily have picked up by myself. So yeah, I do think that this is one that I will unhaul, especially if it is on Scribd. Next up, we have some Margaret Rogerson books. We have An Enchantment of Ravens and Sorcery of Thorns. I actually have the Fairy Loot edition of this, which has the blue sprayed edges, but I have no idea where it could be right now, and I only just remembered that I had it. Have I switched the covers? I have no idea. Is this the Owl Crate edition? I think this is the Owl Crate edition, because it is signed. It has an exclusive signature in there. I honestly have no idea. But I do definitely have the Fairy Loot edition, which has the glittery blue sprayed edges. So I'm not sure what to do. Until I find that, this can stay, because I really enjoyed this book. I definitely need to find the blue one though. And then An Enchantment of Ravens. I feel like I need to keep this just to keep it with Sorcery of Thorns, but I'm not too sure, because I did enjoy it at the time that I read it, but it wasn't one that stuck with me, so I'm not too sure. It is a Fae book though, and I did really enjoy it, so I'm debating. I will put them sticking out for now. Next up, we have some Carrie Maniscalco books. We have the Stalking Jack the Ripper series, which I read the first book for and then didn't continue on, so I am planning on doing that, so I need to keep these. Kingdom of the Wicked and Kingdom of the Cursed, they can stay, because again, this is a series that everyone is telling me to read and I just haven't yet. These Violent Delights I loved. I still need to read Our Violent Ends. The Beautiful, The Damned and the Righteous by Renee Adier. The Beautiful was one of my all-time favourite books. Absolutely loved it. The Damned was really good still, but not as amazing, and then I still need to read The Righteous, so that is staying. The 10,000 Doors of January. Now, if I can get this out, which is going to be a struggle. There we go. This is one I've been interested in for the longest time, but again, I never really prioritise it, so I don't know whether to keep it or not. I feel like it's one that I would absolutely love. It's magical realism, it has secret doors, love, adventure and danger. I just think it's going to be a really fun book, but again, I never really prioritise it, so I don't know. I feel like I am going to keep it, but again, if I don't read it this year, then it's going to have to go, because I can't keep doing this. This is ridiculous. We have the Winter Night Trilogy by Catherine Arden. These are staying because they're the Stunning Fairy Loot editions. And then we have The Night Circus and The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. I still haven't read any of these, you guys, and I'm actually pretty embarrassed, but I feel like I can't get rid of them because they are staples in the book community, and I feel like people would genuinely kill me, so I am going to keep these. But again, I feel like if I haven't read them by this year or next year at the latest, then they're going to have to go, because I haven't read them, I don't know if I will enjoy them, and they are just taking up space, so these are on a time crunch as well. Right, next up we have more of my fantasy hardcovers. I don't think I'm going to get rid of a lot from here, to be honest with you guys, maybe even nothing. These are all books that I'm so interested in, and they are definitely a priority for this year, so I think we're going to move on from this shelf. These last two shelves on this big shelf are a mix, so these are my adult fantasy books. They are high fantasy, which is definitely becoming my favourite genre, and then on the bottom shelf we have a bit of a mix of everything, so I'm not actually going to get rid of any of my adult high fantasy books. Please ignore the dog once again. This angle is horrible, but there may be some books on this bottom shelf that I could get rid of. Oh my goodness, Kiwi, you are a menace. She's so cute, but when you're trying to film, she is definitely... Oh, hi. Thank you. Yeah, hi. Do you want attention? Yeah? It's Drusilla. Oh, you're the cutest. Oh my gosh, you can't even see properly, but look how cute. Right, Kiwi's gone. I have moved the camera a little bit just so that you can hopefully see this better, but we have my Heartstopper books here that are gonna stay. We have the Arc of a Side series by Neil Gaiman, which was gifted to me by Rachel. Thank you very much again, Rachel. I am gonna read it this year. I have to. I have books 1, 2, 3 and 6, don't ask me why, in the 6 Tudor Queen series by Alison Weir. Absolutely love those books, so they're not gonna go. We have Sister Song, The Blood Trials, Twin Crowns, An Arrow to the Moon. That is one that could possibly go because I think it's a sci-fi romance story from what I remember. Yeah, I'm not sure if this is one for me, to be honest with you, so I might get rid of this one, though it is a beautiful edition. It was an extra book in a fairy loot box. I just don't think it's for me though. It's filled with romance because it's a Romeo and Juliet retelling, though it does have magic and Chinese mythology. I think that's why I kept this, is because of the mythology aspect, but realistically I don't think I'm going to pick it up. So this is one that can go in the Unhaul pile. I'm going to keep Her Duck Wings, Legendborn, the Graceling series, Raybearer, The Gold King, The Rage of Dragons, Ace of Spades, and ooh, right here we have Wolf for Wolf and Blood for Blood by Ryan Gordon. These are books that I have owned since I lived with my mum, so that was before going to uni. I finished uni 2 years ago, so it's definitely been over 5 years and I still haven't read these. I have definitely lost interest, and yeah, unfortunately these are some that are gonna go. I am gonna keep Half a King by Joe Abercrombie for now. Oh my goodness, I didn't even realise it's the same author as The Blade itself. How have I only just realised that? Oh my goodness. Yeah, definitely keeping that. Oh my goodness, guys, honestly. Moving on though, we have The Shadow Glass here. So this is one that I read recently. I actually listened to the audiobook, I didn't read it physically, and I thought it was okay, nothing amazing. But I do think I am going to get rid of it because I don't think I will pick it up again. And I will ask my stepdad if he wants it first, because I feel like this is something that would definitely suit him. However, I'm not quite sure because I thought this was going to be something different, so we'll see. I'll ask him, but if not, I am going to get rid of it. Right, these are the last 2 shelves of my last bookcase, and I'm not too sure if I'm going to get rid of anything from here. We have the Illuminae files by J. Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. I have only read Illuminae, but I did really enjoy it, so I do think these are ones I'm going to keep for now. Hi Kiwi, once again. I have A Discovery of Witches here, which I'm not sure if I will ever read, to be honest with you. I feel like if I want to consume the story, I will just watch the television series that they made of it. So this is one that I can get rid of, I think. Then we have some thrillers that I'm not going to get rid of. One that I could technically get rid of is Verity by Colleen Hoover. The only reason I'm saying this is because I did recently buy the anniversary hardcover edition of it, so I do have a nice copy now, but I feel like I really do want to keep this because it's one of my favourite books and I really did love it. But do I need it is the question. I'll put it in the Unhaul pile for now, but it might just mean that I will move it to another room in my house. Next up we have some more murder mysteries. Oh, I haven't heard the best thing about this book by anyone that's read it really, so I don't know, something has made me hold on to it, but this might be the time that it goes. I've just not seen good things about this book. So for now, I'm going to put it in the Unhaul pile, and then we'll see if I stick to it. I feel like I will, because there's no point reading a book that everyone says is not good. So yeah, now that it's kind of officially in the Unhaul pile, I can let go of it. And then I'm not too sure whether I want to get rid of any of these. The Ghost Tree by Christina Henry could be one, but this is a kind of paranormal murder mystery from what I remember, so I think for now I'll hold on to it. And then after that we have Know My Name by Chanel Miller, which is one I'm desperate to get to and definitely need to prioritise, and Norse Mythology by Neil Gaiman, which I still need to read. After that we have my ARCs, and I have been saving my ARCs because they're really special, but then again I don't know if there's any point keeping them if I don't think I'm going to enjoy them. So for instance, Blood Scion, I'm not sure if it's going to be my type of book, but I mean look at how floppy this is, you guys. absolutely love it, but I'm just not sure. I have the Christie Affair here as well, which was my first ever ARC, so I'm definitely not getting rid of this, but I do have the hardcover, so technically could, but it came with like really cool postcards and things like that, so I am keeping that one. But yeah, I'm just not sure if I need all the ARCs that I've gotten or whether I should unhaul them. Right, moving on to the next shelf. This contains some of my smaller hardcover books, and again, I'm not too sure whether I want to unhaul stuff from here. I do have some V. Schwab books, but as you've seen, I do like to collect her books because they just mean a lot to me and I love Victoria. So yeah, I have some here. The Near Witch is one that I didn't love, so I could get rid of it, but I think it's just sentimentality that is making me hold on to them. Fable is one that I'm really interested in, but again, I don't know if I should get rid of it. To be fair, I do always say that I want more books about the sea, so I am going to keep this for now. Defy the Night, I really want to read, and I was actually really good and didn't buy the second book before reading this one, so I feel like I can hold on to this one for now. If We Were Villains can stay, This Savage Song, and Our Dark Duet. And then we have The Wish Granter and The Traitor Prince by CJ Redwine. These are fairy tale retellings and I'm not too sure. I read a different one, I can't remember the name of it, but it was a Snow White retelling and I really enjoyed that one, but I read it a few years ago and so I'm not sure if it would read a bit young for me now. However, you guys know I love my fairy tales, so I think for now I am going to keep these. House of Salt and Sorrow was one that I really enjoyed, but do I need to keep a copy? This is also an Owl Crate edition. I don't know what's really that different about it, but it does have a letter from the author. Again, really enjoyed this one. It's a retelling of The 12 Dancing Princesses, so I am going to keep it. And then we come to my J. Kristoff and Amy Kaufman section. The Aurora cycle of books that I could get rid of. They are available as audiobooks. That's how I consumed the first story, but I do feel like I'm going to keep them for now and see how I feel next year. This trilogy though is one that could possibly go. So this is the Lifelike series by J. Kristoff. Listened to the first two books on Scribd, really enjoyed them. Haven't actually gotten to True Life yet, which is a shame actually. I should definitely get to that one soon. But I really wanted a J. Kristoff shelf, which sounds really shallow, but that is essentially why I bought these in hardcover, and I feel like they look really cool as well. So yeah, I think I will take them off of this shelf. Whether I take them to my mum's and keep them there for a bit, we shall see. I tend to do that to see whether I will miss them or not, and if I don't miss them then I can get rid of them anyway. So I think these can go off my shelf, but I might take them to my mum's, which is technically cheating, but yeah, we'll see. Next up we have more of my smaller hardcovers. Don't worry, you won't have to see my face again in the next clips because they're too high for me, but here I'm not too sure whether I want to get rid of anything, to be honest with you. The only one I'm unsure about here is Scavenge the Stars. I wasn't too sure about it when we received it, I think in a fairy loot, but I loved it because it's such a cool cover change. Like, look at the difference between those two. I think that's what actually made me keep it, but I'm not too sure. It sounds really interesting. So it says, the first novel in a sweeping fantasy duology, this gender-swapped retelling of the Count of Monte Cristo is packed with high-stakes adventure, romance, dueling identities, and breathtaking betrayals, all brilliantly woven together by acclaimed author Tara Sim. So I'm not too sure. Maybe this is one that can stick out of here for a bit. And then Spin the Dawn I really enjoyed. Still need to read Unravel the Dusk. We have my Disney Twisted Tale books, which I'm not getting rid of. We have Bring Me Their Hearts, which is a trilogy by Sarah Wolfe, which I really enjoyed. The Dark Tide is one that I keep putting off, but I feel like I'm gonna love. Same goes for Middle Game by Shauna Maguire. Red Hood is one that possibly could go, to be honest with you, but I feel like it's a really dark retelling of Red Riding Hood, which is why I have kept it. I think I am going to read that one actually, and yeah, House of Dragons is staying, and Serpent and Dove, so yeah. Not really getting rid of anything from here unless I get rid of Scavenge the Stars. Next up we have my Sarah J Maas shelf, and you guys know that I'm not getting rid of anything off of here, so we can just move straight up. Once again, I am holding the camera, so I'm really sorry if this is shaky. I can't see too much that I want to get rid of off here, but I am going to unhaul The Drowned Woods by Emily Lloyd-Jones. I read The Bone Houses, I think it was, by her, and I hated it. Essentially, she tries to use the Welsh language throughout her books and it's really not done very well and just really irritated me, so I think it's safe to say that this one can go. I was going to try and read it, but I'm not putting myself through that, so yeah. Gonna get rid of this one, and then I think other than that, I am going to keep all the rest of the books on there. Moving up another shelf, this is what we have. I could move the Daughter of Smoke and Bone books by Laini Taylor because I've only ever read the first one. I started the second one and really didn't like it, but I have decided to keep all of her books together because I really do love Laini Taylor. I've met her a few times and I would like to give the series another go, so I am keeping that there. We have She Who Became the Sun by Shelley Parker-Chan, which I really want to read. We have my Sebastian de Castell books, which are staying, and now we have come to our very pink Fairy Loot books. Six Crimson Cranes is one that I want to read because I really enjoyed Spin the Dawn. I've read Girl, Step and Thorn and really enjoyed it. The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea, this is one that I can't get out the shelves because the books are packed. There we go, I had to put you guys down, but I finally managed it. This is the Fairy Loot edition that I was on about. That is absolutely stunning. I just don't like the kind of corally spine. I prefer the blue, so I'm not sure. I might switch the covers round and sell the standard edition with the Fairy Loot cover. So if I do that, I'll obviously go through it in a minute. But yeah, this edition at the minute can go, or at least one of them, so I'll take that one off my shelf. We have Once Upon a Broken Heart, same as I mentioned earlier. Again, I might switch the covers round, we shall see. Very excited for Jade Firegold and the Prison Healer and the Stardust Thief. However, the Undertaking of Heart and Mercy is another Fairy Loot book that I don't think I'm interested in, so I am going to unhaul this one as well. And then the last shelf, as you can see, has 3 copies of Babel on there, so let me just move those out of the way. I do think that I will actually be getting rid of the standard edition of this book, and when I say standard edition, it's still a Waterstones exclusive edition with the black sprayed edges, but I don't think I need 3 copies of it. I kept this one so that I could read it, so that I wouldn't damage the Fairy Loot and Illumicrate ones, but honestly I feel like I can get rid of this one now. I was going to send it back to Waterstones, but I took too long in doing so and I just felt like I couldn't return it after that point. So yeah, I feel like this is another one that I'm going to unhaul just because it's unnecessary for me to have 3 copies, even though I know that it's like an amazing book apparently. So yeah, this is another one that can go. And then moving back up here, I'm going to start with my J. Kristoff books. Those are staying. The Poppy War trilogy by R.F. Kuang is staying. Once and Future Witches I'm not too sure about actually. Same goes for the Cruel Prince series there. I'm pretty sure that that is also a duplicate copy of the Atlas 6, so I might get rid of that. The Book of Night I think is going to go. I might keep one just to read, actually, we shall see. The City of Dusk is staying. Vespertine is staying. And my Naomi Novik books is staying. So let me get the ones that I mentioned down. Okay, so I have taken down the Once and Future Witches for now. I can't remember. People either loved this or really didn't enjoy it, so I might take to Twitter to ask about this one. People are definitely going to kill me for all of the Holly Black books that I'm about to unhaul, but I genuinely don't think I will ever read them again. So I do have the Atlas 6 here as well on the bottom, but I do think that my Holly Black books are gonna go, which is such a shame. I had mixed feelings reading it the first time. I loved some bits of it and didn't like some bits, and then the hype just made me want to keep buying her books, which is how I've ended up with all of these. But yeah, I'm not too sure. I feel like my sister will actually really like this, so I might offer these to her first. But I know they're really popular, so again, they will be on my Depop, probably as a set, if you guys are interested and if my sister doesn't want them. And then the Atlas 6 is one that I have 2 copies of. This is the Fairy Loot edition, I believe. It's a white cover. It has a really gorgeous sprayed edge, but as you can see, the sword kind of warps a little bit, so that puts me off. But it does have stunning end pages. It has a really cool foil design on the book itself, and it's signed. However, I don't need 2 copies of this. It might be my favourite book in the world. I'm not too sure. I haven't read it yet, but I do have the Atlas 6 in the Illumicrate edition, and I do have the Atlas Paradox in the Illumicrate edition now, so I don't think I need this one, and I feel like someone else would really appreciate having it. Right guys, that definitely took longer than expected. It is getting dark outside now, so I need to wrap this up. So very quickly, I'm just going to show you the books that I have decided to get rid of. We have And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie, Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie, Dragon Mountain by Katie and Kevin Song, Where the Crawdad Sings by Delia Owens, The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas, The Night Swim by Megan Goldin, Rebel of the Sands by Alwyn Hamilton, Wind Witch by Susan Dennard, The Existence of Amy by Lana Grace Reaver, The Fletcher by Beth O'Leary, The Coldest Touch by Isabel Sterling, A Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness, Stags by Emma Bennett, The Shadowglass by Josh Winning, Wolf by Wolf and Blood for Blood by Ryan Grodin, An Arrow to the Moon by Emily XR Pan, and then I do have two more paperbacks that I found, the first being The Veil of Winter by Melanie Dickerson, and the second being the Penguin Game of Tropes rulebook. For hardcovers, we have the Lifelike trilogy by Jay Kristoff, Where Dreams Descend by Janella Angeles, Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber, The Stormcrow and the Crow Rider by Kaylin Josephson, We Hunt the Flame by Hafsa Faisal, The Undertaking of Heart and Mercy by Megan Bannon, The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea by Axie O, not sure which edition yet or what I'm going to do with it, but one of them is going, The Drowned Wood by Emily Lloyd-Jones, the Fairy Loot edition of the Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake, The Book of Night by Holly Black. I can't remember if this is the Fairy Loot or Illumicrate edition, but it is one of them and this one is going. I have decided to keep the other one, the black edition, just for now in case I do decide to read it, but I couldn't justify holding on to two, which is why that one has gone. Then we have the Cruel Prince books, including The Cruel Prince, The Wicked King, The Queen of Nothing, and How the King of Elfheim Learned to Hate Stories by Holly Black. We have Babel by R.F. Kuang, which is the Waterstones exclusive edition. We also, of course, had the Harry Potter books, which I'm not going to give much more attention to, and then again I found some more books that were hiding away from me, so I am also going to unhaul Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid, Wicked Fox and Vicious Spirits by Kat Cho. I actually listened to the Wicked Fox as an audiobook and really enjoyed that experience, so I think I am going to get rid of these. We have Blood Scion by Deborah Falaye, the Fairy Loot edition I believe, and it is a finished copy. I of course have the ARC, so I will be holding on to that for a little while longer, however I just don't think this is going to be my type of book. And then we have A Study in Charlotte by Brittany Cavallaro. This was one that I was debating about, but I do think I am going to put it in the unhaul pile. It's been sat on my shelves for way too long now and I feel like someone else would really enjoy it. So there we have it, you guys. Those are all of the books that I have decided to unhaul today. I have just counted the books and I am unhauling 42, which is honestly a lot more than I thought I would. Oh, actually, I have the Harry Potter books there, so that's another 6, so I'm unhauling 48, which is honestly amazing for me. I have a lot of space now on my shelves, which was the ultimate goal of this, and it definitely feels like a weight has been lifted off my shoulders. I have been stressing about my bookshelves for a while now, so to finally do a New Year clean, I am definitely very happy. If you have watched this video all the way through, first of all, thank you, because I do feel like it's going to be a long one again, and if you'd like to let me know that you are still here, please go ahead and leave me some sort of cleaning emoji. The new year always inspires me to kind of clean my surroundings, get rid of old stuff to make space for new stuff for this year, and yeah, it's definitely a fitting emoji for this video. If you did like this video, please don't forget to click the like button and the subscribe button as well if you'd like to see more content from me. I will of course have a bookshelf reorganization video coming your way as well as a bookshelf tour, so definitely keep your eyes peeled for those, and I'm just so excited for 2023 and my content in general, so it would really mean the world to me if you click the subscribe button and the notification bell if you don't want to miss when I do post a video. Apart from that though, I am going to end this video here. Please don't forget to check out my Depop if you are interested in any of these books. They might not be live yet, just depending on my time frame and things like that. Hopefully I'll be able to get them up by the time this video goes live, but if not, don't worry, they are coming. But that is it for me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. It truly does mean the world to me, and I will see you soon in my next video. Goodbye!